Hey there, it's Ariana from Ariana Mullins Bodywork, and I just wanted to get on and talk about something real quick that has been coming up a lot for me recently. I want to talk about therapies that stress out your nervous system. So there's one thing in particular that I'm thinking of. It is so cool that so many people in the community that I'm in right now are getting referrals for pelvic floor physical therapy. I think it's really exciting and really wonderful. Women really deserve full pelvic function. They deserve help. There's a lot of issues that we just associate with being a woman that we've learned to accept, but we definitely deserve better. But there's something that's coming up that's really troubling to me, and that is I've seen a number of clients who have come back from getting pelvic floor therapy who are extremely stressed or even distressed by the therapy itself. I know many of the therapists who are giving these therapies, and I really like and respect them. And at the same time, I think there is this really unique thing happening that has specifically to do with pelvic floor therapy, and it also has to do with being foreigners here in Spain. And one thing I just want to put out there is pelvic floor therapy is a really big deal. A lot of times the work is internal, and it can feel invasive. And there is a problem here because, one, if you don't speak Spanish, there can be a communication problem and it feels disempowering. And two is that so many women have been through some kind of sexual trauma. And even if they weren't physically assaulted, I would say the majority of women have been through many situations that make them feel unsafe, and particularly make them feel really vulnerable for being a woman and having a female body. And so as we're working in these places in a woman, there is just so much vulnerability, and there is potential for a woman to feel triggered or unsafe. And in that situation, even to go into this freeze response, which is very common. And it is a protective measure. There's nothing wrong with you if you've ever been in a situation where you went into a freeze response and didn't mobilize and make something else happen if what was happening was not what you wanted. A freeze response is really normal and can be very protective for us. But a lot of times what can happen in a situation where we feel unsure or unsafe as we go into this freeze and we don't communicate what it is that we need, or we don't communicate that we feel threatened, or we just completely dissociate. We kind of leave our bodies even during a therapy that's supposed to be there to help us. So first of all, I just want to let you know that if you are going in for any kind of therapy, and particularly for therapy like pelvic floor therapy, it is really important that you know that you need to communicate with your therapist. If you are going in feeling really anxious, tell them, "Hi, I'm here and I feel really anxious." If you have a history of sexual assault or trauma, it's really important that you say, "Hi, I have a history of sexual assault or trauma. I feel really anxious and I feel unsafe. And I am here because I want to feel better, but I need you to keep that in mind and check in with me as we go." And it's also okay for you to say, "Hi, I'm here for my first pelvic floor therapy appointment, and I would prefer that we not do any internal work today. I don't know what your plan is, but I'm not quite there yet. So can we do something else first?" And basically, the therapist needs to earn your trust. And that is perfectly fine. You are not obligated to allow them to do anything. If you're not liking it, you can say, "Actually, that's enough, stop," or "I don't want to do that." Or can you explain every step of the way what you're going to do. What is coming next? What is this? What are you doing and why? Any good therapist should be more than happy to talk you through everything that they're going to do, to check in with you. A hallmark of a good therapist is that they are watching you and that they are paying attention and that they are sensitive to your responses. Enough so that you can actually really feel safe and relaxed. These therapies are really good, they're needed, they're powerful. But something I see happening is that some of my clients are becoming more dysregulated and they're almost having a traumatic response to the therapies themselves. And I think that is so sad because I am a huge fan of pelvic floor therapy and a huge fan of women going out and getting what they need. But just like everything, there's a learning process that goes with it. I think in general here in Spain, therapists are a lot more comfortable with inflicting pain on their clients. And I see so many people going out in town and getting really bruised. And that's just something that I personally really disagree with. And I think is just more of a thing here in Spain than it is in the US of inflicting a certain amount of tissue damage that people can, of course, recover from. But if it's psychologically a really negative experience for you, if you feel really anxious about going in, if you feel really awful afterwards, if you don't feel better when you leave, these are just some things to look at and consider if you have the right therapist working with you or not. And also just to communicate about it. It is absolutely fine for you to tell your therapist, last time it took me too long to recover from the way I felt, or that was psychologically really intense for me, or emotionally. I don't want to do that. I don't like the way things are going, or I would like you to lighten up. I don't ever want to have any bruises. Just things like that. And the truth is that if your nervous system can relax in these situations, if your whole self feels safe, you will receive so much more benefit from the treatment. But when you are stressed out, even if in your mind is saying, this is good for me, I need this, if your body feels unsafe or stressed, its response to the therapy is going to be so different and your healing is going to look so different. One of the best things a therapist can do for you is help you regulate your nervous system and give your body that sense of safety. That is a really important part of therapy. Making that connection between your body and your mind, right? Helping you to feel your body and never putting you in a place where you feel like you need to escape your body because it's so painful. Okay? So that's a really, really important part of your treatment. The goal is that you leave a session feeling more connected to your body, more calm, more safe. Sure, sometimes there are challenges. There can be discomfort emotionally and physically, but overall, the net result needs to be an enhanced connection and a sense of safety and well-being when you're done with the appointment. So I just need to put that out there. If you have specific questions for me around that, please get in touch and ask. This is something I really, really care about. I want you to get the help that you need and that you deserve. But it also needs to be quality of care that is going to help you over time to heal as a whole human. Okay, you deserve it.